It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
How's it going? I'm Jason Ward. I hope you guys could hear me. The intro had no audio for me, which was very strange. But I'm here with Bob Ross. How's it going, Bob Ross?
It's Robbie Ross. It's little Bob Ross. There's the big Bob Ross and there's a little Bob Ross.
This is little Bobby B. Ross.
Little Bobby B abides. Right?
Okay, his name is Rob, and he shopped at a Ross once.
You know, my first online name was Sketch Rob.
Sketch Rob.
Sketch Rob. Yeah, and I was like, it just sounds like some guy struggling to be relevant. And
Sketch Rob.
and then IDW, an editor at IDW, called me irrelevant to my face. You know, you're relevant. I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna need a new name. And I was playing Minecraft, so I'm like, Sketchcraft. That's it. That's how it happened. That's irrelevant. You know.
What kind of human tells another person that they're irrelevant, though?
Yeah, the guy who gets fired from being editor-in-chief at IDW.
There you go.
Yeah, but he did. That was a nice, you know, he bought me a burrito that day, but I mean, like, I suppose. I mean, I just sat there like, I thought we were friends. Huh.
Yeah.
Guess we're not.
He's like, just so you know, you're not really a Palpatine. Okay. You're just a Rob.
Just so you know, on the third, we haven't got to the third issue of Bounty Hunters, War of the Bounty Hunters, but that's how I felt that was coming from the way they wrote Palpatine. It's so weird, the writing on that issue. Like, I was like, what am I reading? Like, yeah.
I read the second issue of the Prelude today, so I got to that. So we'll talk about that.
This is the Luke one, right?
Yeah, that's the Luke one, because I read like 4 or 5 issues, but they were all in the wrong order. They're like from different parts of it and everything. But yeah, it's definitely the opening of War of the Bounty Hunters is definitely a slow burn. It's definitely like it picks up a hell of a lot. So good news on that front for you.
Okay, because
yeah.
I'm just like fucking wards.
Yeah. It's literally just like, why are they there issues, essentially, like why are these people in these positions? So at least so far anyways.
Little chess maneuver.
Yeah, but really quickly, if you're a kid of the 80s, well, first let me say a congratulations and good job to Bespin Bulletin. Not like, and I say this about myself, this isn't like a dig, like not like the biggest scoop, but he did scoop first. He was the first one to say that Bryce Dallas Howard was directing 1 episode of The Mandalorian. And today, in a piece about Flight of the Navigator getting a reboot or redo, I'm not sure if it's a reboot or a redo or what, but they're making another one with a girl, which is fine because the original boy, he wasn't very masculine. I don't think it changes very much.
we pretty much remember the robot, the little alien with the berries, and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
And the cart of Transformers toys she wheels into them. I was like, look at them fucking toys, man. They're all in the box.
Yeah. Yeah. As a kid, I remember thinking like Sarah Jessica Parker's character, I'm like, I think she would show you her boobs if you asked her. I remember like literally thinking that based on how she is in that movie, in that role. She's just like way too accommodating. Do I do this?
Yeah, you
do it.
I had some teenage and late middle schooler babysitters at that time.
Mm-hmm. And
after watching that, I may have gotten a little bit above my pay grade.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like in the 4th grade. I may have pulled a little cool smooth move. You know what I mean? But to be honest, I was a smooth kid. My mom was like troublemaker, you know, early. Like, I didn't care about hanging out with the dudes, and I didn't care they made fun of me. I wouldn't hang out. The women were way more one-off. They had toys that smelled good. Like strawberry shortcake toys smelled amazing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, boys' rooms stunk.
Oh, I mean, honestly, I remember it being rather traumatizing, and it doesn't surprise me why you have all of these dudes into really weird stuff after the 80s, because you would go and they would have strawberry shortcake toys and they smelled good, and just scratch and sniff stickers.
Yeah, scratch and sniff
And
stickers.
and
they
then
love watching MTV, and I could watch Queen and not get made fun of. So,
then you pick up a glowworm or a Care Bear and it stinks like piss all the time, because they were peeing the bed and they had those plush toys and they would get pissed, and the parents are just like dealing with the crisis at hand. And oh god, it was awful. After that, I quit. I would never smell anything. I had this one point where I picked up a Care Bear and then a glowworm, and they smelled like a disgusting men's bathroom, and I was done.
People are like, this is what happens when we do this show this late. Like,
yeah. This is why we do it in the morning.
I like that stoic Lucas look behind you the whole time you're saying it too.
Look at him judging me.
Yeah, that's how you know what I mean. They wanted me to do Ewok plushies, but I would check.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I can't do it. Have a soul, Rob. Have a soul. You know?
Okay.
I'm not.
Oh God. Okay, so I was going through my notes, and I had some. I have a bunch of stuff I can't put out yet, but there was one little bit I was able to put out, but it was so tiny. I was like, oh, I just forgot about it. I just didn't bother. And recently, there's been, I believe it was the Tatooine show for Star Wars Only, who put out a scoop saying that Takodana is in the Book of Boba Fett. And they do mention a connection that on their show, like the host is like, yeah, it's like a thing. And some of his friends are like, because there's a spaceship, because Slave One's in the video game, like that sounds stupid to me. And I was like, and I get where they were coming from on it, but in reality, it's, if this is accurate, it's that they were planning on setting, this connection was set up so long ago, they had the foresight to put Slave One in Battlefront 2 outside Takodana, knowing that this was going to be a plot element in the film at that time. I
love that it's called Takodana. Like,
yeah,
so
right.
Not in that is not. It's not my generation, really. You know, so when these names come up, I'm like, it's like when I found that restaurant that said Takodana, I'm like, oh, that's funny. I thought it was Maz Kanata, but then I was like, oh no, that's an actual thing. Like, are we running that? I mean, you know, like,
yeah, it sounds like the moon of Shelley's Burgers.
The Hot Pocket Nebula, you know. I mean, Pizza the Hut ain't too far a stretch now, buddy.
But anyways, how do I put it? Someone working on Cassian told me stuff a long time ago, a couple months ago now, and just kind of getting into like what was going on at Pinewood and lots of indoor shots. But here's what I thought. There was this one note that I took that I thought was just pertinent, maybe, and not to confuse things and not to cast doubt. I have no reason to cast any doubt on anybody's reports. I don't know. But the planet looked rustic, but elements of ancient decor, as there was a lot of stone, like a cross between Takodana and maybe little accents of Tatooine. So this is talking about like major sets that were built for Cassian Andor. So does Cassian Andor go there? Is there a chance that stuff that is being believed to be for Book of Boba is actually for Cassian? I'm just throwing it out there. Or maybe they went through the effort of building the or transferring the Takodana set into the volume, and they're just going to town on it. But another thing is that I was told that they're not crazy about the volume stuff. The people are making Cassian is, I'm not saying that there's no volume work. I'm not saying that. I don't think there is very much, if there is any. The volume work probably consists of spaceship effects and stuff like that, but lots of ancient stone castle looking stuff for the Cassian series.
You think Gilroy had the cloud to be like, no, we're spending money.
What do you think, George?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, if I had my way, my whole marriage would be in a volume. So.
Oh,
I
and
mean, people are better that way. You turn
and
them off and
hello,
on.
Dale, and hello, AJ. How's it going, guys? Just wanted to say hi to the chat before I forget. Wait, George Lucas is writing fan fiction? Oh yeah, he did that. He wrote some Flash Gordon fan fiction, and it ruined our lives. imagine,
Yeah.
imagine how many things we would have done in the world if he hadn't created this I don't know, waste of time.
That's a really interesting thing. What if we put that in his tombstone? Imagine what I could do if I hadn't built this waste of time. Like all the people in the world, there'd be no extra religion, no toys, shit.
Man,
I mean,
I really regret right now. I've done about 4 or 5 pieces of George Lucas fan fiction, and one of them was George Lucas doesn't make Star Wars, and he becomes an author instead. I wish I had that one now because it really ties into what you just said. Fully imagined. But anyways, Flight of the Navigator, not Star Wars, but Bryce Dallas Howard. She comes from the loins of Ron Howard, who did Willow and Solo: A Star Wars Story, and then directed 3 episodes of Star Wars television. So I feel like there's a connection.
so ways to
Opie,
put that.
Opie,
Okay.
from the loins of the red pubic bush of Ron Howard.
It's the late show, folks.
The Late Show.
It's the
I mean,
late show. It's
Dude,
MakingStarWars.net after dark.
what's funny about the show is on YouTube, we will be completely clean for like an episode. It's like a short one or something. Nothing happens. Demonetized the whole time because it has something like Bad Batch in the title or something like Batch. That sounds like cum. Demonetized. I don't know. And then, but then we'll do this other one and we'll just be like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a riot at this place? And they're like, oh, that's cool. Go ahead and keep that one up. So yeah, I don't care anymore. Nothing matters. Nothing's real. The rules don't matter. The rules barely even exist.
Jason's literally becoming a nihilist as we speak.
Yeah.
How apropos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Mueller. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so Flight of the Navigator is I mean, it's a movie that in some ways, like a lot of in certain ways, the concepts of it do really kind of hold, like the science fiction-y side of it holds
UAPs.
up super strong.
They go underwater.
Yeah. No,
They go underwater.
It's almost like they got it more right than for 2021 than any science fiction stuff in the past. But it was also like I really loved the movie as a kid. I had the Disney magazine for it and everything. Like I was like excited for it, and it came out like over a weekend, and I feel like it had a big weekend, and then it was just done. It was like there it is, and it's gone. It was
I
just
didn't even know about it until it was on the Disney Channel.
really
Or HBO or one of those things, that we watched on TV.
Yeah. It just like it kind of like came and went. Like I was pretty jazzed about it. So I saw it in the theater and everything, and super scary as a kid. Like this idea that you walk down this little embankment and then you come back and your family's like old because
you go to a farmhouse and you have missing time.
There you go, dude.
Bro, believe me, it didn't escape me that when I saw that years later, I started thinking about what the hell did I dodge?
Yeah.
What the hell? As a kid, when I saw that, I was like, like if I had said yes, I may have woken up. I don't know now. Like, oh, that would suck. They dropped me back in a pandemic. Fuckers.
Allison saw it in the theater. That's
all right.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw The Boy Who Could Fly in the theater. Not many people saw that. So
you know what? I didn't see Boy Who Could Fly in the theater, but I did see Boy Who Could Fly every time it rained for about 2 years in school. For some reason, that was like the VHS, and then I think I want to say E.T. came out on VHS, and then that became the movie, which was also good. Like
I'll watch Boy Who Could Fly over E.T. any day. Sorry.
That's
I know. Sorry, I'm not a big ET guy, man.
Really?
Like, not really up. I like The opening scenes with the family
Yeah,
and the Halloween stuff. That's about it. You know,
yeah, yeah.
the bikes
I
flying is cool, but that's about it.
Yeah, E.T. like scared the shit out of me as a small kid. So it was just like Gamorrean guards, just like they were ugly and freaky, but I couldn't take my eyes off of them. You know, it's like what the fuck is that? You know, so I watched it like glued to it. But E.T. like Close Encounters, I mean, there's like this element of it where there's like the John Williams music is playing and there's flashlights going everywhere, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, this is like Pink Floyd for 5-year-olds. You know what I mean? It's like the yeah, like Zarium. And I was really into it. And but yeah, but anyways, that movie though, like, you know, he comes back and like it had like it was in a way like kind of treated like it was crap, but it was really good crap. Like remember Daryl? Like Daryl was another one, like a boy who's like a robot, and they kind of have like the same third act. Like
I used to
this,
get Daryl messed up with Cloak and Dagger.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, when's Dabney Coleman showing up? In my head, they were the same movie. I was like, because the kids look so much alike to my feeble brain at the time.
yeah. Well, you know how like you always hear like Close Encounters airs on television, and then people have like UFO sightings and they report they're being abducted after they see it. Like there's some
People
kind of
had
connection
sightings
to
of
it.
Dabney Coleman.
Well, no. When Cloak and Dagger would come on TV, I would be like, I fucking know some kid's gonna come and tell me that there's secret codes in Super Mario, and it happened every time it came on. Like that was my version of it, you know. And
That was your version. Huh?
that was my version of the UAP Close Encounters thing. Allison says, I saw most of the movies you're talking about in the theater. Yeah, me too. My childhood was kind of like my parents were young and they smoked a lot of pot, and they would be like, oh, let's go to the movies, and they would go smoke pot and go to bed, and then I would just be sitting there awake, you know, and at the drive-in, sometimes at the walk-in as we used to call it, which I thought was a huge tribute to Christopher Walken for a time, but no, not, it just was, they called it the walk-in. And but
Did you
yeah,
really? I think you made that up.
but the walk-in,
Tribute, yeah.
no,
No,
they
the
really
tribute
did.
to Christopher Walken.
No,
I know
yeah,
they called him
no,
Walkens. I remember the
no,
sign.
I'm kidding about that.
Okay, I was like, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
I think Ward's pulling one over on me.
no,
Yeah,
Christopher Walken
my dad was
wasn't
like,
beloved until
my dad
90s.
was like, I paid for cable, so no more movies. Like that's my
Yeah,
dad. I got a cable and I got a VCR. You don't need to go anywhere. That's my
right.
dad. So my uncle would have to basically somehow trick my father into going to a free radio premiere.
Hmm.
You know, like, and it was hard, but he could eventually get him to go because it was free. And that's
Yeah,
how I would see The Boy Who Could Fly. But it was never good movies. It was like Boy Who Could Fly is all right, but it would be like Big Business and The Great Outdoors and Short Circuit 2. You know,
yeah.
like, but I wanted to see RoboCop. You know, and so the coolest was Last Crusade
Hmm.
because I had no idea that that movie was even being made. I didn't see any commercials for it. I had no idea. I
Yeah,
walked in the theater, it started. I'm like, what is it? And I was like, what? Like, that's the only time in my entire life I had no idea
right.
anything was being made. Yeah.
Yeah, as like a kid, I was pretty light sensitive. Like I still am. Like I kind of like the lamest version of a goth, just because I'm like, oh man, I can't see in the bright light. But as a kid, like I was like really into, like I remember it was so much more intense then. And like driving on the freeway as the cars would come at you, I would just like look at the lights coming at you and be like, that's so beautiful. Like that's so cool looking, you know?
Because we're all
And
on the spectrum a little bit.
a little
You
bit.
know?
But I mean, it was like so weird. But I remember going to see Return of the Jedi in '83 that May for the first time. And when I go into the theater, it's like a similar experience because everything was red. The carpet was red. The walls were red. It was a huge Lakewood was a huge theater. It's where they showed Jaws for the first time, and had a huge chandelier like in the entryway, and with lights all over it. But they had these lights on the ground that would like show you like theater one, and then you would follow that row of lights to theater one because you were too stupid to get there on your own, I guess. I don't know. But it was just like, wow, it was like such an experience to like as a kid to like see everything was just so crazy looking, you know, and like lights everywhere, and then the spectacle of the movie and all that. And now it sucks going anywhere because like nothing is that cool. I drive my car and I'm like, look at these lights. I hate them. Get out of my face. You know what I mean? But that was so much cooler being a kid back in that way. And that movie was really good. Flight of the Navigator was like really good. And but Paul Rubens was such a big part of it. And I'm curious if if you go and you make Flight of the Navigator, do they use Paul Rubens in 2021? I think they should, but I don't know if they do.
I don't know if he has quite the same voice. I mean, they could modulate it, I guess,
Yeah, I mean, he could. Yeah, I would imagine if they got him back, he could do the voice, and they would probably add an effect to it, anyways. Yeah,
they should just get Joe DiMaggio and make him Bender.
So we could like the Rick and Morty version, essentially, of Flight of the
really
Navigator.
Sweet kid, but it's just the world's shittiest robot ship. Like picks the kid up and just, it's like the bad Santa, like a fucking Flight of the Navigators.
Yeah, but
she calls him bad robot, and we go, oh.
I am glad that she's getting stuff like that. Because like Flight of the Navigator, that she's like getting like opportunities to try, because like it would be cool if she got a Star Wars movie probably, but at the same time she's done Star Wars for her career. It's better if she goes and makes something else like happen and click outside of that environment. So could be a good thing. And I'm also glad that Disney is making more science fiction movies. And Flight of the Navigator, I mean, like I said, it's such a good concept. They just had such it had a really, you could watch YouTube videos about it out the ass, but it had like a really weird like production and investors coming in and out and all this stuff that made it like kind of a mess. And I think that's why it ultimately was mishandled. But
it had a weird feeling. It didn't feel like, it felt like when I watched it on TV, I thought it was like a Disney Channel movie.
Yeah.
With like one cool effect, the CGI ship, because I had seen CGI ships with The Last Starfighter, which I did see in the theater. So I knew this because I knew like the ships in Starfighter moved differently than Star Wars. I didn't know what it was, and my uncle had to tell me it's because it's with computers. I was like, wow, computers. And then and so when I saw that chrome effect, I was like, oh, that's computers, because you can't that's when I started learning about special effects. But the movie has like a small movie feel to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if the Flight of the Navigator had been directed by, like Richard Donner, or someone with more of a cinematic eye, would it picked up? Because it just feels like a smaller made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, it falls into that place. It's like the good version, the good movie of Masters of the Universe and Garbage Pail Kids. It's like it came out around that same time.
I do like the opening to Masters of the Universe, though. It opens well. It opens really well, and then it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, no, I mean, that whole movie shit. I probably still like the whole movie.
But Strickland's still in the Masters of the Universe fighting. With his shotgun. That guy had a shotgun, man. That's why when I was like, wow, Strickland. All right.
Yeah.
But that opening is fantastic.
Billy Barty?
Yeah. Billy Barty, yeah.
Yeah, he was probably maybe like the only like cool thing like kind of introduced in there was like that character would have worked in the normal cartoon, I think. Whereas most of the other things were just like second. I don't know why they did most of that, but that Skeletor looked cool though.
My stepdad, the guy my mom married after she abandoned me, told she told this guy my brother and I were dead and got married. Yeah, we actually lived 20 minutes away.
Yeah,
that was interesting guy. Good dude. Wait,
back it up. What did when he found out you were alive, was like, hallelujah. He
was a little bit, he's an E8 in the military, so he'd been in Vietnam, but he was a little bit of a Jesus guy, so like he took my mom to church, so he thought it was like he believed in that whole redemption thing, and now in his older age, he's like, I don't believe in it, but at the time, he was trying to buy into that. You could save my mom, which that didn't work. And my mom was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, mine too. So, some people do need that. Some people that like they get that that chance and they feel a little bit of that guilt for what they did, and it does change them. But apparently our mothers are magical.
Yeah.
They are no,
Yeah.
not at all.
Was your name? Was your mother's name Marsha? Like, I was
Uh,
curious.
no,
No reason.
it was
You know, I
Elaine,
got a
George.
frog.
It was
I
Elaine,
got a little
George.
frog in my phone.
Your mom's name isn't Elaine, right? We're not brothers, right? Not half brothers, are we?
Man, I found a half brother. If I got another one
Yeah,
out there, that'd be
that's
nuts.
what-
If he was in Cerritos, that'd be freaking nuts.
Dude, I just live a few minutes from Cerritos, so I'm just saying, you know.
What was crazy is there was a good chance we may have ran each other at the pool at one point. Like that.
Right.
That's actually fact. Like that may have actually happened. So we were there so much.
We were at the Irvine Batman screening at the same time.
Right. So I just want to say he was friends with
Yeah.
the guy who did the swords.
Oh, in
The
He-Man.
swords and
Masters of the
the
Universe?
Masters of the Universe movie, the sword guy.
Yeah.
So they were friends with that guy because he was a stunt guy. For whatever reason, like my stepdad was a little bit into Hollywood at the time.
Mhm.
Damn it. He was friends with this guy called Peter Hoffman, who's a real fucking character if you ever look him up. Peter Hoffman was this guy who lays ownership or co-ownership to the world's second largest pearl. Like there's this giant pearl and no one knows what to do with it, but they just think they're going to be wealthy. And there's this whole like battle in Hollywood. And Michael Jackson wanted to buy it at the time, so they were meeting up with Michael Jackson. They're like, "You can be Michael Jackson." I was like, "Yay!" It didn't happen.
Yeah.
But later on, I was like,
Good.
"Woo!"
Yeah, you're very lucky.
Well, I don't know. I still don't know about that one. That could just be the
Would
world's
you-
biggest case of.
Well, let's just pretend it is as it seems.
Okay.
You meet Michael Jackson. He doesn't put a move on you. Does it hurt your self-esteem? Do you feel like
No.
maybe? Do you feel like maybe like is something wrong with me?
No, and it's not because he's a dude. It's because he has so many fucking toys. I'm way more interested in the toys. You know, like I was like, he'd have Sega games and he'd have fucking roller coasters and shit. So I would be like, fine, man, just come over and leave me alone. Not interested. So I can just play the games. Like, I'm shallow, right? Like,
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but he was friends with the sword guy. So I got to meet him once and that was about it. He signed like the black and white photo. They had he had photos. He's like, here you go. And he signed it. I'm like, sword guy. I still don't know his name. Sword man.
Sword man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the swordster.
Never
But,
came back. Never got those guys in the cartoon, right?
Yeah. Man, we should have Allison. You should do the show with us one night, especially because your name sounds like Mick Clone. And I want to call you Allison Mick Clone. But
you know they're gonna come up with a McClone now. You know that.
McClone. Yeah. Well, there's a Gregor, which is very close to getting there. Anyways, she wants a new black hole movie, and I think
They were making that. They canceled it.
Yeah, I do think that if there's an opportunity in that, though, I am with you. I don't know if they would pull it off. Like remember that movie they made with the Tomorrowland movie? God, that was just like that was a hard watch.
Well, it's because Disney kneecapped Brad Bird.
Mm-hmm.
So the script that Brad wrote and they signed off on really dealt with Walt being a big part of that story. And Walt actually having gone to the Tomorrowland and brought back all these things from the future, or from this other place. And he was actually there, like an Obi-Wan kind of thing, or Wizard of Oz element. And they were going to bring him back all CGI.
Wait. We're going to have CGI Walt Disney.
CGI or like, the Carrie, whatever.
So he's like, I need to know one thing. Do the Jews still run Hollywood? No, man, you can't do it. You can't bring him back. You can't bring him back. He would be like, hey, are there unions around here? Let's bust them up. Come on, Clooney.
It's the Disney version of Disney, not the
not the real one.
Yeah, it's the one with the cool signature, not the one that said you're fired, fuck your unions, So yeah. But they canceled the Walt part of it. And that's why the film is just weird.
Yeah. That does sound like it's interesting. It probably would have really just inspired a ton of those YouTube videos, like 10 things you didn't know about the anti-Semite Walt Disney from the new Tomorrowland movie.
And I don't think it's any coincidence that they greenlit Saving Mr. Banks like after that.
Yeah, that was,
You know?
yeah, that was a lot of.
And you never heard Brad Bird talk shit about the film too. So
I ran into Brad Bird at the first G23. I think it was the first one. Might have been the second one. And Star Wars was getting going. I asked him, "Hey, you gonna do a Star Wars movie?" And he goes, "Oh, that's brave," or something like that. And I was like, maybe he's gonna do it.
No,
I don't know.
it's more brave to do a fucking useless Tomorrowland movie no one's interested in. Like I get what they were trying to do, but if he wrote that Walt thing and they cut that out, then I'm no longer fucking interested. Because Walt had the World of Tomorrow, Epcot Center, you know, like all this visionary stuff that you think of, right?
Right.
Prior to George Lucas, you think of Walt Disney and the crew of Imagineers. And if you take that out, then there's just no fucking point. That's like saying, hey, you can make The Force Awakens, but no Jedi, no Force. You know, like, so what's it called? You know, the Rebellion Awakens. You know, we're just gonna pretend the Jedi don't exist, kind of shit. So, yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Sith Stoner. Oh, Allison says that she'll do the show with us. She harasses Rob semi-regularly. Yeah, we need that. We need more people harassing Rob.
She does do that.
Yeah, we'll send you a message and figure out a time that you're free, because whenever you're free, jump on with us. It's cool. So our buddy Sith Stoner, should have been Sith Stoner 420, so you know, but 777.
It's Matthew McConaughey's handle.
Yeah.
all right.
People don't know I like Star Wars when I drive, and I
Where's
rock it
that
like
Filoni? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
We're out of sync.
My daughter was like, "Dad, I want Olive Garden. Can we go to Olive Garden?" And I'm like, "No." No.
Poor
She's like,
kids.
but I was like, I looked into it and I'm like, oh, they have an app and you could order and they bring it out to your car and you can take it home. And I was like, we can do that. So we go and we like do that, but they have a thing set out so you could if you needed to, there was a problem with the order, so they bring out this like little thing and she's able to, so I had to like repay for the food, and on it you're able to like play games and it has Disney Plus. And so we're like outside away from everyone, and I'm like, you know, redoing the transaction, and she starts like watching Disney Plus at outside of Olive Garden. That's a thing you can do. So you could like literally go to Olive Garden if you wouldn't get a virus that would kill you, and you can just go watch Rogue One there if you want to, just so you know. That's a thing.
Or if you want to get caught up on the new episodes of What If, you just go out to Olive Garden.
I mean, but it did occur to me that you could technically go to Olive Garden. It costs like $1 or something to use that little system. But you could turn it on. You could get endless soup and salad, and you could watch all of the Clone Wars. They can't kick you out.
Do they just keep bringing it to your car though? The endless soup is
no, they don't do that there. You actually have to go inside. But I know a lot of people. I gotta
risk death. Well, it is cheap.
Zistoner says, do you think Acolyte will be about the Night Sisters' origin? That would be cool. It really would. I think that there's a lot of like potential there, and there's a lot of potential to do female-based Star Wars content with a lot of lady characters without having to rearrange things and make it, you know, where some person's like, oh, this focus is weird for me, you know. It's kind of like fuck them, but at the same time, if you have an order of witches, I wouldn't mind watching a good version of the Star Wars craft. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many like things that you can do with magic and that kind of stuff in that universe. And
casting Feruza Balk as a Night Sister would be genius casting, by the way.
They should do that.
I mean, it's full of fucking Kurtz, man. You know, you just can't get rid of him. You know, you know, he just keeps coming back. You know, like
Feruza as a Star Wars as a Night Sister. Yeah, I'm on board. But yeah. Oh, on another note, I don't know where it came from, but there's like this rumor I keep hearing about like all these old Republic characters that are going to be in it. And obviously I can't say anything like for certain because it hasn't been made yet. But when there was a couple of characters going around, and I won't say which ones, but it wasn't even written yet. So if you're wondering if that seems like it's realistic whatsoever, I would not bank on it at this point. I'm not saying
So it's
it.
like announcing an election before people vote, you know?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like,
making the
yeah, it's not
website
the
that
order, you know?
you need to like let the event supposedly happen before you start writing that it happened. But it does kind of it does it ends up in a weird place though, because a part of me does think that whether it was done or if those rumors are rooted or based in any kind of like sincere place, it would make sense to some degree that you explain where you're at in the timeline at some point, that this is way before Luke Skywalker, and that this is also not that far back as the old Republic stuff.
You mean like an
And
opening crawl?
an opening crawl is a potential, but I do
Or
think
that
that
solo thing where
the
it's just a block of text?
the things that are being written that don't fall into the Republic episodic vibe and film throwback, they're not doing the opening crawl. I mean, that's pretty much the style guide for it. If you're not doing that thing, you don't do it. You don't. If you're not
But they're
doing
in
the
every
Republic,
Marvel comic.
yeah, but that's just because you know.
I'm iffy on the whole, was it from Ghostbusters? I'm iffy on the whole whatever thing, like I'm just what's good, what's bad, like,
Mhm.
I'm iffy on the whole crawl thing. What can we do? What can't we do? When can we do it? So can
Yeah,
they just put up a block of text? The whole reason for the crawl was so that you could jump in the middle of a story and know where you're at. It's really the whole point. So if you're gonna do something that's kind of like out of order, it works. I get that it's a bit of a drag to sit there and read it. Like,
yeah.
remember when every Nintendo game would come out and there'd be a crawl, and you're like, "Fucking crawls, man!" Like,
When you don't need a crawl, it's insufferable.
right. But if this story needs a crawl, like if that solves this, then just do it. Like just Solo has the one where you like go through it in 3D and shit. Like it's all glowy.
Yeah,
It's super.
it's very Willow. It was actually very Willow, kind of like the way
Ah.
that it's like, yeah. But yeah, like Rogue One didn't have a crawl, and that one probably really could have used it. It probably would have actually let you cut out a few minutes of the opening.
The
So
crawl is read Catalyst.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but Jason, when are you down to jam? I'm always down to jam. Allison says, I only harass him because he helped me with my art. No, that's nice that you teach. Yeah, I told you, you are the Bob Ross. You are the Bob Ross of Star Wars, dude.
I'm
You
not
are.
happy little trees, man. I'm like fucking these
Mm.
trees, motherfucking studios, man.
You're like I'm just gonna put some womp rats down here. Gonna shoot these little
Bob.
fellas. They're just about a
Bob
meter
is like,
tall.
yeah, he's like, I don't like yelling at people in the army. I'm like, fucking yell at everyone. Like they don't listen to reason. You pick your friends for details. They don't help.
Okay,
Drop.
Sith Lord Bob Ross. We got it.
Yeah.
Still down to jam. Still down for it. Okay. What does Allison say right here? The production notes, I believe, say is a Sith. I would need to double check. Okay. Yeah, if you do, let me know. Very little is out on it now. It is at the end of the High Republic era. Yeah, that's pretty much all that we concretely know in terms of like official material is that it's at the end of the High Republic era, and it essentially is going to be what ushers in the Phantom Menace stuff. I don't think we're going to see the Phantom Menace stuff, but we're going to see how a golden age of the Republic is sort of silently killed and the machinations behind the scenes that like lead to that, I think. But
Yeah, Filoni likes
AJ's
to call it the peak republic.
the peak republic.
It's at the peak.
Peekaboo. Or
Hello, I'm the
peekaboo.
Republic. How you doing? I'm dead. I'm not dead. I'm dead.
I did it
Hey,
backwards, but you
our
get the idea.
Dave Filoni has the hat, but he always has pajamas on. Like every time I imagine he has pajamas on, and it's like it says Filoni, and it's like in cursive writing, like etched into every
Like
silk
Johnny
pajama.
Gilbert from Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Like I went and saw Jeopardy once back in the 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
And Johnny Gilbert, the guy who did the voice of Jeopardy, he's still wearing he was wearing that jacket, like the 70s glossy jacket with Johnny on the back, like the whole. And I was like, Johnny came out and said something, and I remember because I was still a little bit of an asshole at the time, but I'm like, we can see your nipples. And everyone laughed, and Trebek just turned around and walked in the other direction. Because you can see his white shirt, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. Pre-show.
Let's eating Gilbert's grapes. Yeah.
See, Allison says he ripped me apart worse than Neil Adams, then went over the techniques I need to get better. I spent a few months just studying what he said.
I was nice. I wasn't ripped.
You're a piece of
Very
shit,
careful.
dude.
Was
You are
Mom?
you are
Dad?
what was that movie with that guy from WKRP in Cincinnati where he plays the drums? Where the kid plays the drums and he's like a dick?
Yeah.
That's
He
you,
was
dude.
he was the asshole guy on the Private Parts when Stern gets to Detroit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
cast that perfectly because he looked at him, all right, and just kept going. I'm the new guy. Yeah.
She's all, he was nice as he tore me apart. You poor woman. I feel so
There
bad
are-
for you.
There are a grip of my followers on socials
Mhm.
who think I never smile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, like when I'm typing, I don't really, like, I don't fucking know what I'm supposed to do.
This guy is gold.
And anytime I took a photo, I did grumpy face, like for years. So I think that's probably why,
Yeah.
we're on the Cars ride at Disney, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and everything.
No, we didn't have positive 90s role models to show us how to take happy photographs. Everyone was just like, and then on the other spectrum, you had boy bands that were just good looking guys doing that. There was we don't know how to do it.
You know how different Gen X is from modern millennials and zennials and whatever else they got? Is we're the last generation to run from a camera when it pulled out. Remember, you take a camera out and everyone, no.
Yeah.
No.
Don't do it.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes away.
Yeah. Now we got YouTube shows.
I won't fucking stop with the cameras.
Yeah. Well, it says David Finch reviewed my portfolio and said, "You are fine." That's cool.
David Finch can draw? Oh, David. I was thinking
David Fincher.
Fincher.
He's like
David Finch
Allison.
is a top cow artist.
He's all,
He's
Allison.
a good guy.
I have two suggestions for you, Allison. The first is that you maybe study life drawing. I think it's going to really elevate everything that you're doing, and when you do that, I think you're really going to hit a new plateau. I mean this. And the second thing is, what's in the box? What's in the box?
The third thing is never direct a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Like that. Just turn those one down. They keep wanting me to direct Batman, but I won't do it. And they keep making these Fincher-like Batman movies.
Yeah, it's true.
They have offered him Batman multiple times, and he turns it down. And with the latest Matt Reeves one, I'm like, they're just gonna keep doing this until he makes one.
Until he does. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I almost feel like the more that they do it, the less likely it is he'll do it. I mean, because it's like if everyone ends up doing little pieces of what Fincher would do, you know what I mean? Though, then he does it all. It's just like, oh, he just did it all competently. Who cares? Like that's how it would feel.
Would be nice to give him a chance to like redeem the Alien franchise in a way. Like if he was the guy to save it, at full Fincher force and, conjures up his own take on it, does something from the ground up. And then everyone's like, this is amazing. Because I really feel to this day, he gets the shaft on that,
Yeah. And Allison brings up, like, she says, I want a Batman movie set in the 40s. And I am with you there. I also feel like Superman too. I mean, like,
Yeah,
you know,
I've
Superman
always
and
felt that way.
everyone, I am not the first one to say this, but like Superman set in the Depression, his little I want to smack you in the face happy attitude and like the uplifting spirit of it, it works really good like in the Depression era, you know, like in that
Well, there's a
setting.
book. There's a book called It's Superman that did that.
Okay.
It was written back in like the early 2000s.
Hmm.
And it's a really realistic take. Like he's who he is, but it is and is like there's a giant robot at the end. There's his dad, so it has that Fleischer like thing. But other than that, it's like a really like Luther's great. He's like an alderman, like a politician who also gets way ahead of the curve. He's like the next big thing is robots. Like he gets into robot technology ahead of time. But Clark becomes like a stuntman in Hollywood. That's how he gets the outfit, you know,
Yeah.
and because he's super strong. But there's this and it deals with racism and the Dust Bowls and all that stuff too, like in a realistic manner. So like if you wanted the Chris Nolan Depression era version of Superman, read his Superman. It
Mm.
is really quite the good book. I feel that it should be more like pulp adventure set in the 30s. It should be
Yeah.
more Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, than the Chris Nolan version of,
No,
you know,
that's how I feel
the Grapes of
too.
Wrath. Yeah.
Like I am not gonna say that the like Nolan Batman movies are in any way worse movies than the Tim Burton one. They're way better, but the Tim Burton one gets closer to where I feel like that heart is, that like the essence and the fun and all of that kind of stuff. It's just like those
Well,
movies, I don't actually have fun watching them. I just feel like it's like sweaty comic book dudes that like check box things. Or like he checked all the fucking boxes, and I'm like, but where's Prince? Where's Party Man? And you know what I mean?
Gemini, by the way,
Yeah.
that's the character. Zach makes an appearance in the Batman 89 comic for one panel.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, well, like Star Wars, I just feel like stop trying to make the Star Wars Oscar movie, right?
Hmm.
And make it fun. And I
Yeah.
feel like again, like with the sequel trilogy, it's one of those things where like there's so much pressure to make the ultimate Star Wars movie, they start checkboxing things as opposed to what's a fun experience, what would be really great to watch over and over. Because you want to watch Star Wars on a loop.
Hmm.
You don't want to come out of Star Wars like, you know, like when you watch Dunkirk, you're like, that was amazing, but I'm not going, I'm not running right back into theater
Exactly.
to see that. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm, I'm tired. I need a nap. Like,
I have to forget what happens in 7 for the most part before I watch 7 again. And I'm like, wow,
yeah,
amazing. Amazing.
yeah.
I'll watch
I think
this in 10 years.
so. I mean, probably his most rewatchable, loopable film is probably Social Network, right? That's probably the most loopable film,
Yeah.
but it's
I will,
douchebaggery,
yeah,
you know? Like,
I didn't like it because I didn't like anybody in it.
yeah, it's the whole
It's
point, though.
I know, I know that. I know that.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
yeah.
and I'm a hypocrite because I think Spring Breakers was genius. People like hate Spring Breakers because they hate everybody, but I'm like,
Oh, with
that's
James
the point.
Franco?
Yeah, but like that's the
Yeah.
point. They're supposed to be like the worst like people, but also get at the heart of like, what are these people like? Why are they like this? And why does this exist? Why does it? And I thought it did like a really good job at of dealing with that. What's his name? Is it Harmony Corrine or something? Cormine? I can't
Oh, the
remember how to say it.
director? I
Yeah,
can't remember.
he did
Did he
kids,
do? Yeah, yeah.
kids, and yeah, he's done really. I mean, all of his movies I think are pretty rad. But yeah, he did Bully. You ever see Bully?
Yeah,
Yeah, Bully's good. You
yeah.
know, I think he does a good job of like getting that like experience of being a young person and the ugliness that is around. You know, at least I saw a lot of that. And yeah,
But to
so it's
bring it
like,
back to Bryce, remember when the rumors were going on that she was the one who was going to take over Willow because you know she's a Howard.
mhm.
Like,
Oh, I believe it was because she was shot from the red mass of Ron Howard's red pubic hair.
oh no,
That's I
forgot
believe
about that.
that's how I believe it
Why
was
did I
worded.
do that?
Was it Deadline or Hollywood Reporter? Yeah, it was one of the trades though. I think it was Entertainment Tonight.
It
That's
was
how
just like, is that how it works now? Like, if your dad did it, your kids gotta do the sequel. Like, I mean, look, it's working for Ghostbusters. So there's something to it, you know, but at the same time, I was like, really? Like that out of all the things. So I'm glad to see if she's taken on a genre film out of the Disney wheelhouse, that is probably something she watched when she was a kid and loved, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
No,
'cause that,
and I mean, the good thing is, like, I hate nepotism. I think it's stupid. I think it's awful. And I also think that we have a real problem in American culture, or maybe Western culture, of wanting to revert back to royalty all the time. You know what I mean? And when Ryan Johnson had Ray as nobody, I was like, yes, that's a statement right there. Oh, and then they undid it, and she was the imp. She was the most powerful evil guy. It's like, fucking JJ, dude. You're an idiot sometimes. I mean, she does some really great stuff, but that was an idiot.
I'm an Abrams. My father was an Abrams before me.
Yeah. Yeah, and but I mean, the good thing is that those two seem like I won't say anybody's names, but there's a few, um, like there's a few Hollywood brats that are in that same position because of who
Fucking
their fathers
Coppola's,
are.
man.
No,
Nick
no,
Cage.
no, no,
Can't get rid of
Sophia.
him.
Sophia is one of no, it's like
Sophia. All
Sophia is
these little
great.
Coppolas running around everywhere.
Yeah, no, but
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
they're real talented, but you know, they ruined The Godfather 3, you know.
yeah. No, but I mean, Sophia Coppola, we would be kind of lucky if she ever took on something from Star Wars. I think in the end, like I think she is really gets at character, and surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Well, this is
And
also where Disney should, and I've been saying this for the longest time, like, because Cal Arts is where they would pull, you know, Disney helped found Cal Arts, and that's where they would pull their animator pool from a lot of the times. And I was like, you know, they should be releasing, this is back in the mid 2000s. I was like, you know, they should be releasing new Disney shorts from Cal Arts students that are like 1-2 minute longs, you know, attached to films like the Pixar shorts we're doing, but experiment in animation again with the students to bring up these pilot programs, to bring up new animators, you know, and new directors and new voices, versus trying to get them through some fucking system that they never animate anyway. They just do storyboards or development, and then they hand it off to someone in Southeast Asia. So like there's a way now with Disney Plus that they, you know, again, like giving people a chance to direct an episode of something that they wouldn't have had a chance to
mhm.
ever, you know, work on Star Wars in a movie capacity because it's too big. There's too much at stake. You know, like Deborah Chow. I don't think they would have given Deborah Chow a Kenobi movie having never worked on a series, right? So
and they should have, but they wouldn't have.
they should have, but they
Yeah.
wouldn't have, like, because that's the fucking way it works, you know.
Hmm.
So with all of this TV stuff, I just feel like there should be, like, I don't want to say like the golden ticket, but there should be a chance to bring up. Remember how like Lucas did those like fan film awards for a while? Like, you know, there should
Yeah.
be something again like that where they can pull people in and say, you'll get a chance, you know. We gotta, you know, if you win, we gotta vet your personality and make sure you're not a fucking psychopath. You know?
Yeah, no, pretty much every single time they step in the fan realm, it bites them in the ass. They would
Right,
be
because there's a lot of
wise.
psychopaths. I know.
There
I know.
are,
But there are
yeah.
people in independent film that have already
Sure.
gone through these layers of vetting, right?
People who are in the career, who have careers on the line, and who aren't going to go and just become a
And I have a
oddball.
friend who's a DP who shoots a lot of stuff for Netflix, background stuff. He just did stuff for Westworld, like all the stuff you'd see out the trains, like, you
Mhm.
know. And these people are working all the time. They should get a shot to do, you know, even like a little 6-minute Star Wars short or a 6-minute, you know, Willow short or something, like whatever. And then people go, well, we should create new IP. Yeah, but the new IP is what will get the eyeball. I mean, the old IP is what gets the eyeballs, not the new IP. So
Yeah.
give people who don't have a chance. There's tons of people working now who just don't have the opportunity to even direct an episode at Netflix, who've done the intros to Netflix, who've done, you know, secondary work for Netflix or stunt work for Netflix, but no one's got the actual director's push, you know? And so I just think, like, I wish there was more, you know. I'm glad to see Bryce get that opportunity. So obviously, she got her foot in the door because, you know, she has connections, but you can see her growth as a director just within 2 episodes of
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, like, pretty quickly. So
Yeah, and some of the I think like the worst parts of anything that she's done were the costumes in that episode with the ATSD, which is actually a good episode. But the people in the
visual with
village,
the ATS,
the visuals on that were great, but the people's costumes look terrible. I don't know if she's responsible for that. I have no idea. But whoever did that shouldn't do that anymore, because those costumes look like Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they suck. Oh no, I'm not knocking Star Trek: The Next Generation. I'm just saying it doesn't look like Star Wars.
I know you're talking about. They're too
Yeah,
clean.
and Joel says Sofia Coppola was in Phantom Menace. Oh, 19-year-old Jason knows. He knows. Because she was the handmaiden of choice over here. Yeah.
Were you waiting for that figure and they never made it?
I was waiting for the love. What? No. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. There was a lot of them. A lot of them Coppolas running around Lucasland making trouble.
They make the wine, they drink the wine. Fucking ridiculous.
All right. You've officially. I didn't know if we were going to do it, but you officially are making me open up George Lucas fan fiction now.
Oh no.
Yeah,
this is probably not. Well, it's experimental writings, Jason.
It's definitely okay. Yeah. Okay, this one.
Mm-hmm.
I like them because they're just rather quaint, just kind of like a slice of life, really. Let me see if you can. Okay, let me share that with you. Okay, can you see that text, or is it impossible for you to see?
Well, from where my setup is right now, I got to pull it up on my other screen. But yeah, I think it's legible for the most of the audience. Let me pull it up on my big screen. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
All right, cool. So this was written by This is called Star Rental by Adam Fortu Man. Some underscores in there. So he says, I don't know what this is. I just know I needed to write it. It's about midsummer, and you have managed to get yourself a decently paid job at the local rental shop. It's not the most engaging of work, but it's easy, and the management are chill enough as long as the store is well kept and the customers are satisfied. Your head snaps up from whatever YouTube video you were watching. With it being the morning shift, there hadn't been a great amount to do. Only weirdos came in at this time. You couldn't stop yourself. The thought flickered around, rattling from ear to ear before snagging on a loose bit of fat and finally spreading deeply through your brain. Time to greet the weirdo.
Gonzo's like, hello.
So, good morning. Welcome to Star Rentals. Your time shifts, making the fact that you aren't really here. You try to arrange. Oh, what?
Masking the fact.
Oh, masking. Really... Yeah, I should wear my glasses, but where are they? They're kind of dirty, but your time shifts, masking the fact you weren't really here. You try to arrange the muscles into your face, into what you hope is a friendly and reassuring smile, but know deep down that it most likely resembles that of a psychopath. Correct in everything but sincerity. You blink once, twice, and then again before coming to a conclusion that does not seem possible. Before you stood a man well into his 70s and about 5'6" with that blinding white bouffant to add an inch, if not more. A man that looked like Colonel Sanders if he decided to try his hand at the art world. A man
that's accurate.
Named George Lucas has just walked into your shop.
Uh-huh.
Here you go, George.
I got to do this. Okay. Hi, I'm fine. Thank you, young one. I'm just stopping in as I pass through town. You never know where you can find in one of these old shops.
You state as your customer service skills stutter and stall before you finally respond.
Of course, the older stuff is over there.
Wait, is that supposed to be me saying it?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, okay. You point to the more cult section of For Sale Media. There was more tape there than a crime scene. You can't help but stare at as George hums his appreciation for your suggestion and wanders through the aisles, taking his time and picking out a few titles. You notice a shift in his demeanor.
Wait.
Clench.
Huh.
His frail muscles tighten, his brow furrowed, and his hand seized a tape off the shelf.
Howard?
The tape looks to
Howard?
be quite old, but you can't make out details from here. It looks like the word star is written on it, but George's hand is blocking the later half of the title. Maybe it's a Star Wars film. Why would he be upset about a Star Wars film? The old man places the VHS before you. It reads Star Wars, the holiday special.
Hi. So, I'd like to buy one of these, and I know this one is a. I can't read that because the fucking logo's covering it, bro.
Oh, it
Scroll
is?
Down. Yeah, I gotta scroll down a little bit.
Does that help?
There you go. That's fine. That's fine. Hi. So I'm. I'd like to buy these, and I know this one is a rental only, but I'm sure as shit you know you can do it for me.
He gives you a warm, reassuring smile.
Yeah, Georgie needs to buy these.
You remember the talk of George's wrath, how he destroyed all versions of the film that fell in his path. You think of preserving this treasure so the others can witness its glory. Unfortunately, we cannot. It's against store policy, and the owner would know. Those are part of his personal collection.
Fucking Kurtz. He owns this place.
George grabs for the tape,
Won't let it go.
but you beat him
Give me
to it.
that. Yeah, like the fight where they're like, you know, stop it.
There is a momentary struggle as you both hold on to the object of desire. He feebly attempts to wrest it from your control, but to no avail. He drops his hand in defeat.
This must be thin George Lucas, because if he's got the weight on his side, there's no fucking way. Hold heavier, George Lucas would just let him.
Oh, we saw George at that Chinese buffet training for this moment.
When George Lucas fights people, he sounds like mankind.
It sounds like he's going to say cornholio. One hand to forehead, the other outstretched.
By hook or by crook, is it okay to sell me these tapes? There will be no reprimands for it.
The father of Star Wars was trying to Jedi mind trick you. Your resolve to save this treasure grows. You are pushed in the face. You drop the tape. The bell of the door rings. The final thoughts passing through your head are thanks for the owner's demands for better CCTV. I don't know why that exists, but it does.
It's like it's kind of like you're in a dark room. Did you ever play that YouTube game?
Mm-hmm.
You're in a dark room. Like, I'd like to see a version of You're in a Dark Room with George Lucas. Yeah, at a rental store.
I mean, obviously the author is like, number one, I don't know any of the other pieces that this person's on. I don't really read that much fan fiction, but I think it's pretty awesome that somebody was like, you know what, I'm gonna write George Lucas fan fiction, and there isn't enough of this, and I'm gonna do it. But I also
you're at a Mongolian beef place. You're just regretting life. Your only customer is this man who never leaves, and he gets angry when he reads Entertainment Weekly. He tips well, but mostly in like anecdotes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It is kind of funny to me that like and obviously the author is just having fun, but it is funny to me that like the way that things kind of get soundbited, like it does make George Lucas seem like he is a crazy, irrational human about this thing, when he's just like, no, you just can't put it out. No, I'm just not gonna like let it touch the brand. Sorry. Like it's like that simple, but it's like he destroyed every copy. And like you do hear that, like this fan fiction isn't taking liberties with that. You hear that, but it's like they have the whole thing. He almost let the whole thing go out one time. He came close to letting it go out on that DVD set that he put the originals on, and he really should have. I mean, there's a part of me that thinks they really should put all of that stuff out, but I wonder in reality if they can't, because of the Jefferson Starship music and stuff. Like I remember there were things with what's the Warwick Davis directed one when he's like 10, Return of the Ewok.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The one of those three
Supposedly,
Ewok movies.
yes, no, but supposedly Return of the Ewok was this like little documentary about the making of Return of the Jedi through the
Oh,
eyes
okay.
of Warwick Davis as a
Right.
child.
Yeah.
And there's little skits in it and stuff, and Luke and Leia and Han are in costume and everything, and you know, it's rad. But you can see it at conventions sometimes. I think I saw it at Celebration One, and but they say they can't put it out because of like clearances on rights. Like they have to get Harrison Ford to say it's okay, and they just can't really do it for something that's so esoteric. You know, it's not really worth his time, and they really can't probably really get that meeting going, and it just kind of like stays dead. But I do wonder if like there's problems with, you know, the Jefferson Starship music and shit like that, you know, just like how music rights work. And I wonder if that's one of the things holding it back, amongst you know, the fact that it is a colossal piece of shit and a big waste of time. And once you watch it, you should probably never watch it again for the most part. You know,
Yeah, my buddy Barton, who passed away, would talk to me about that because he was born in '67, so he
Mhm.
was 10 when Star Wars came out, and the Star Wars holiday special was like the year later. I think it was like
Yeah,
'78. Yeah, and so he would go, "Yeah, man, I was so excited. Fucking sucked."
yeah.
Like he's like, I was falling asleep. You know, I didn't understand why the Wookiees wouldn't talk. I don't know. You know what the hell's going on? It was
It's
so weird.
it's like there's like a 10-minute stretch of Wookiees just growling at each other. There's no subtitles. I mean, yeah, it's very bizarre. Like I you know, a part of me is wanted to look into if there's a script available, because there is a chance that if they were saying lines to each other, and maybe if we got those lines and we subtitle, I mean, it's obvious what they're saying, but maybe that would make it better just by a little bit. I
The
don't know.
only way to make it better is for the oral nuts to do their own cut of the holiday special. Like,
I did end up
sure.
watching a bunch of that because after it ended up in the YouTube algorithm and it started
Couldn't
playing,
escape it.
my son was really into it. And I love C3PO in it.
Creepio.
C3PO,
Yeah.
yeah, Creepio
Yeah.
is the best thing about it, I'd say.
His arc is the thing that goes across the whole films though, like the whole
Yeah,
series. And it's leading into the red arm and you know, like the red arm will make sense.
yeah.
Finally, I can't wait. So they actually I love the Jedi one where they're ordering chicken. Like they're like, you want to get like Brasco's chicken or something? Oh man, Brasco's chicken is the best, and they're all on the comms. Like, and it goes on for like fucking 3 minutes. Like it's just everyone ordering fucking food. Like it's so good.
Joel says, does George Lucas like the Credence, like the Clearwater Revival?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
there
Was he? I don't know. Fucking hippies. You know,
for
like
well,
wasn't
I
my.
mean, like I lived up there for a while, and there's a couple of songs that are about the area by Creedence Clearwater Revival, and by coincidence, I got a lot of people don't know, but Nirvana started as a Creedence cover band. That's actually like they always tell this one story, but the real truth is they started as a Creedence Clearwater cover band. Let's jam on Creedence songs, and then that's how it really got moving. And somebody who was really involved in the Nirvana camp gave me a tape, and they of Nirvana playing all these Creedence songs, and I was like, man, I love it when they play it. So I started listening to Creedence then, and yeah, a couple of the songs are mentioned that area, and all those people up there, they're all so fucking into it because of that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he loved
Well,
it for that. But I do think he was a little bit before that, his music.
I personally came to enjoy Credence's Return Born on the Bayou because of Return of the Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
So it's like what plays at the beginning. I was like, I like this song. I like the comic book fonts. I like the whole thing. And I was like, what is the name? I couldn't say Credence Clearwater Revival when I was a kid. I couldn't
yeah,
pronunciate. So I called up this oldies radio station because you know we didn't have songs. You had to like request this. So I called up, like, can you play the Credence? And they're like, and they would say Credence Clearwater, because how many fucking little kids call in to an oldie station, right, in like 1989 to request this? And so he was trying to get me to say it. He was so frustrated because I couldn't say it, and then they never played the song because I couldn't say the fucking words.
What a dick.
Like he didn't play because I waited. I left it on for hours. They never played me. They're like,
Yeah.
Little snot can't speak.
Allison says that movie is a colossal piece of shit.
I love Return to Swamp Thing.
My mother got me into Credence. I mean, are they talking about is like Credence a movie or are they talking about the band now? Because
Credence is the home planet for Dagobah. Dagobah is the sun. It's a sun planet. It's the son of the suns. And
God, you know, there was a rumor, and it was like it sounded like it. You know, when they put out Return of the Jedi Special Edition, there's a guy, and I think he's yelling "Mary Casa." Mary Casa, Mary Casa. Like you could hear him like when the little speeder's like on Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this thing where somebody's like, just saw Return of the Jedi Special Edition online. He's saying the son of the sun. And the syllables line up. So when you hear it, you're like, it sounds like so like, but they confirmed it wasn't saying the son of the sun, but that was what they originally had for the Journal of the Wills, you know, the son of the sun. And
you know, JJ initially thought Ray's last name would be Abrams, and you just call her Rabrams.
Rabrams.
I wrote that down an hour ago, by the way. I've been saving it.
Yeah.
It's like, should I? Rabrams. I'll save that one.
Oh, he says, I was trying to get Rob to do Lebowski lines as George Lucas. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to prepare for that. Then you guys want to perform. It only it works when you just put no effort into it. Trust me.
Right.
Like, the minute you start to plan this out, it just doesn't work.
Should we
fucking A, man. You know, I really think Lucas would have, given how fresh, anytime Lucas gets interviewed in the 70s,
right?
He's always frustrated. He's never happy. He's never like, oh, it's going great, man. You know, like we're making this great space film. It's so amazing. Yeah, I'm having a good time, man. He's like Walter. You know, he's like, and my fucking friends didn't die in Vietnam, you know, so you could go and make your stupid wine movie, you know. Apocalypse was supposed to be my movie. Fuck you people. You know, he would just be, he'd be more like Walter, I just feel, you know. Like, I just don't think Lucas would have been very dude-ish.
Oh, Max is here. Hey, Max. Max says, I like Rob, so look up. Yeah, we're going to have Max on pretty soon. Max texted me, and I didn't text back because I forgot. I was in not parent teacher, open house, and it was a clusterfuck because you had to do it online, and only one
did
of
you actually go into an open
house?
No, like,
but okay. you had to sign in to every single thing, and like one of the teachers couldn't make her stuff work, but it was so hilarious. Like I wish I had recorded it because it was like they're like, can everybody turn off their cameras now? And then you have like people who can't take off their camera. You have like this one dude just itching his titty on the camera like the whole time. It was so funny, dude. Like he didn't know it was on, you know? No. Yeah, it was a disaster. It was like, wow. I mean, I felt like a genius though afterwards. I was like, I could turn off my camera. I know how to do that. My camera just turns itself off sometimes. It doesn't care. It does what it wants. But yeah, it was weird. But anyways, yeah, Max, whenever you're ready, would be happy to have you on. I'd love to have you on.
Wasn't Max the name of the robot on Flight of the Navigator?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was that the kid? I can't remember.
Max. I feel like Max was the robot, or at least they called it that. But
can't remember.
Yeah, it was kind of like it kind of has that like also like remember Explorers, like it kind of. It kind of had that same kind of thing, like where the alien has like a childlike quality to it. And Explorers, they actually are children, which is the good twist.
Yeah.
I love
one of those
that
people
twist.
When they get to the aliens, I just turn it off.
Oh, they plays the sax, dude. It's like
I know. Not my thing.
Oh, come on.
When I wrote my silly little fucking fan script, the Starkiller Fan Script, back in '99, I put he had a pet. He was this bounty hunter, and not a good one, by the way. And and he had the little berry pet from Flight of the Navigator was his little pet in the fucking his little. He had a robot named TV, because
Mhm.
he was an asshole, you know. Because I was like, I like that robe. It was like the kind of like the he wore him on a backpack and it would be over his shoulder, like what ended up being in fucking Jedi Fallen Order. It was hilarious. Because I was
Yeah.
just because I don't want to have to animate a robot everywhere. I was like, it'd be funny if you could just wear him as a backpack and he's over his head talking shit to him, you know. And he's
Yeah.
just like you fuck. He's just like you're fucking lazy, you know. You suck. And he's like, because like TV kills. It fuck TV. Yeah, I don't know. It's just my sense of humor when I'm 19. But I was
Yeah.
always like that those little creatures in that area of Flight of the Navigator. I wish they would appear in Star Wars, you know, randomly, like in the biomes and stuff, you know.
Yeah. 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 I hope we get it like a bunch of not necessarily like bad versions, but like Flight of the Navigator and The Last Starfighter and Explorers. Like even I don't think you could really remake Goonies today or do Goonies today, but like Goonies like movies where the science fiction isn't necessarily dumb, but it's fun. And also if it does have kids, they're not idiots and they don't have bowl
Well,
cuts.
well, okay, first off, they're not idiots in Stranger Things. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Stranger
but
Things is the exception.
but I think you're also thinking maybe the new Ghostbusters film is that. Like
Yeah, it might
because like
be.
it sound from everything I've heard, it's
Yeah.
actually pretty good. Like that's
There
what
was there was a big leak a while ago, and I don't know if it ended up being true, but everything I keep seeing in these trailers lines up with the stuff that was in the leak.
But they showed
And
it they showed it in full at CinemaCon
yeah,
last month. So I had a friend who saw it. He was like, "This looked really good, man." I was shocked, you know.
so is all of the
So
stuff about like him being like Vince Clortho's like Paul Rudd being like his heir and all that stuff? Is that
yeah,
stuff
I don't
true?
want to talk about any of that. I don't
I
because
need
I
to
don't.
know.
Yes or no. I mean, the thing is, like, did you ever read Max Landis wrote he put a script out like it was like the
I was trying
opening.
not to say his name about 14 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
that fucking dude. So I did read it. I'm not a fan of Max Landis, so, but I did read his little treatment and where like the opening of the movie takes place in the 30s in that building, and it's Vincent. Was it Vincent Cortho or Vince Ortho? Whatever the fucking
Whatever it is, yeah, that
yeah
guy.
is Slimer. You know, like you see
Oh,
him
okay.
like get trapped in the building or some shit. And I'm like, that's the thing where I'm like, it's just too fan fiction-y at that point. You know,
Yeah.
like I
Well,
want like a
why
real
would he be eating hot dogs when the shit's going down in Ghostbusters 1?
Vincent Clortho, yeah. Right, because it's fucking Jim Belushi. Like or you know, John Belushi, you know, like it's John
Yeah.
Belushi is the spud. Like I get we
Mhm.
got Slimer in the cartoon, that changes everything, but in that movie is clearly John Belushi as the fucking ghost. Like it's not even, you
Yeah.
know, he's not nice too, you know, bit of a party guy. But I do like that this film doesn't feel like a New York, you know, movie remake of an 80s film. It feels like it's its own thing somewhere else where these things happened. And I think like that is the thing where I when I get back to the Phantom Menace, it is Star Wars, but it's clearly not a remake of. I mean, it is and isn't, right? Like, it doesn't feel like you're watching the same fucking thing over again. You know, like you're
Yeah.
watching something. And I know it could throw people off, but
Rhymes.
huh?
It rhymes.
It rhymes. Yeah, so does shitty poetry, like limericks. You know, like so.
Roses
But
are red. Violets are blue. Marshall
roses
Lucas
are
is a
red. The script
bitch.
is yeah. I'm a
That's
little
why he didn't get
bitch.
Star Wars movie for 20 years.
Yeah, well, I got the money from Pepsi. Yeah. I won the Coke challenge. I don't know, well, Rick did really,
Uh,
but
Rick won the Coke challenge, and I won I won the Pepsi challenge.
I imagine Rick McCollum talks like Ric Flair. I know he doesn't, but that's how I
He's really
imagine.
California. He's like, it's fucking awesome. He's just like, that's how everything is.
It's so awesome.
It's so awesome.
He reminded me of the blonde Muppet. Remember, like in Muppets Take My Hand? No, I don't want to take off my clothes. People forget, and when I worked on the Muppets fucking t-shirts, man, and they would tell
Yeah.
me how like nice the Muppets are. I'm like, look, I'm gonna show you, right? This line from Muppets Take Manhattan, probably one of the most sentimental of these fucking films. You know, the one everyone that got Frank Oz a Little Shop of Horrors job.
Yeah.
She's trying to get they're trying to get her nude in the tub.
Yeah.
This is not whatever you think. This isn't like, you know, when Snoopy became like Hallmark cards to everybody.
Mhm.
But you go back and read Snoopy from the 50s and it's edgy, you know? Like
It's no, what's his name? Calvin Johnson of from the K Records. He called Schultz the great socialist writer, like dead serious.
yeah.
And yeah, he's the Peanuts kids and the old shit. They make their own little tribe. They make their own art. They make their own community. The parents squawk at them. They don't give a fuck.
And I
They
knew
it's
the
a
difference when I was younger.
yeah.
So I would have to go to the library and they would have the older Peanuts books and those would be the ones I'd check out. Like I liked that. I didn't like the cartoon was all right. That
Mhm.
one with the fucking girl dying of cancer. Gee, or the one where Snoopy gets lost. Yeah, that whole thing, dude. It's the most depressing bit of TV you've ever had to sit through as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they love to do that to us. They love to introduce depression into our lives pretty early.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, man. Like they were really working out psychological issues in the mid 80s cartoons that just
It did culminate with Haley Joel Osment saying, "Walker says I have AIDS." That's the greatest moment of TV of all time, probably. And
That's
also when Wesley's friend on Mr. Belvedere got AIDS too, and like at the end everything's really great, and he gets to be Abraham Lincoln, and then you never see him again. And
Abraham Lincoln's where she rose the Republic. But
like a very special episode that you ever watch that
yeah.
from the guy who does like Zach Morris's trash. Yeah, probably because he fucking died of AIDS or something like that at the end, because you never see him again. But it
Yeah.
was yeah, what a weird time.
Goes away by the mid 90s.
And so it culminates with Walker says I have AIDS, and then they just never did it again. They're
The
like,
closest they got to stuff like that for me in the mainstream TV was like the first season of Fresh Prince.
mm-hmm,
Like when Will and and Carlton take the car to drive to Vegas or something, and they get pulled over by cops because they're
yeah,
driving an expensive car. Like that's like when they were dealing with that shit, I was like, all right, now we're getting real, you know?
yeah,
And like that, but other after that first season or so, any TGIF like thing was pretty much just zany antics, you know, tool time, you know,
yeah.
Tool time never got real serious, you know. No one was like,
No,
Mr. Wilson touched the kid.
fucking I always hated that show.
It wasn't my thing.
I really hated it because every stupid fucking dude who watched it that was like somebody's dad would call it Tool Time. Oh, Tool Time is coming on. It's like, no, you fucking moron. I don't even watch the show. I know it's the show within the show. You fucking are too stupid to get past the inception of it all.
Home
And then,
improvement, yeah.
and then like all the guy did was make like stupid grunting noises while he was on cocaine, and it was just boring as shit.
I liked Al. I was like, I
Mhm.
would watch the Al show where he just is trying to do things right, you know, and he's
Yeah.
just fixing all this guy's fucking problems. But
Yeah,
I wasn't the kid
TV,
for that, you know.
TV really shot the bed around that time. Like,
That MTV had liquid television. So
yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
that's
that
where I
was
was
cool. I really like Eon Flux was really cool and animated, but then they had to make the movie, and I was like, no, I'm not into this at all.
They should have used the computers. Yeah, they should have used the computers to like stretch her limbs out to look like Jeff Chung's art. You know? Jeff Chung, Peter Chung, sorry.
Peter Chung.
Different. Yeah, Jeff Chung is Jim Chung. That's why I was like, God damn, fucking horrible names. Peter Chung. But
I always say everybody Wing Chung tonight. That's what I say. That's what I say.
Yeah.
No,
80s kid.
no, that song sucks. It really does. But anyways, yeah. What were we talking about now? I went down a whole
Bryce
thing.
Dallas Howard.
Yeah. Joel says, what about when Dudley from Different Strokes got molested by Mr. Carlson from WKRP? Yeah. But
The Nemo episode where they had to play in the tub or something.
oh, I know what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Do you think when all of these episodes ended, when we didn't have the kids dying anymore, all the crisis actors had to move into politics?
Bro, I legitimately had to stop my cousin, the one from Cerritos, from
Yeah.
believing that bullshit with David Hogan when that shit went down.
Uh-huh.
She was like, no, but I read. I'm like, look, I need to take off the computer because she'd come down for my birthday. I'm like, we need to go for a drive and I need to have a talk with you. You know, I had to
Yeah.
explain to her how algorithm and where these things get originated from and what a meme is and what disinformation is, you know. And she's you know, she has MS and her son has some medical issues. And I'm like,
Mhm.
these people want your kids. You know, I'd explain to her about Medicare for all and like what these people are really fighting against, you know, and mental health issues. And I'm like, so it's tough. I pulled her out of that one, but like they know how to target people with that shit. Like they know the scared mothers with, you know, with kids with needs are a giant target for fear-based weird algorithm like cry. I don't know why. I don't know why they would think that. You know, but he was in a like I'm like stop, you know?
Yeah.
Stop with this nonsense. But it was tough, man. Almost I saved it, but man, I was oof. I got
Yeah,
close.
I did in grad school a lot of work in public memory, and in that study you end up getting a lot into like cultural trauma and stuff. And through that, I found out I was like actually really good at law. I hate it. I don't like it. I could never do it like for any, but I'm really good at it. And anyways, though, in reading all of that jazz, I ended up getting walking with like a pretty vast knowledge of Timothy McVeigh. And
Mm,
I'm not really interested in a big way in Timothy McVeigh, but just in all of that stuff, it kind of like all adds up. And so I know I'm a little baby expert on Timothy McVeigh, and not by not my choice, just kind of happened that way. And oh boy, are we in for some fun, because
right.
all of the things that created Timothy McVeigh, boy, did we did that exponentially in the
Yeah.
last 3 or 4 years, and we are going to have. I would not be surprised. I mean, maybe I think I'm being easy on it, but I think at least five, and I bet it's probably going to be more. I would not be
My hope is
surprised.
that they just take to eating lawn fertilizer. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
we get the stupid version, but
Hopefully they
you
just
know,
all deworm themselves and can't really get shit going very well after
they're
that.
snorting
But
iodine now, bro. Like
is that really a thing now?
yeah.
Is that really is that
Yeah,
the
it's
new
really a
thing?
thing. Yeah, they're doing it.
I like how they've just kind of adopted the Tide Pod challenge, and
I
just for adults, Tide Pod
I
for
put up
adults.
a someone put up a meme. I don't repost too many of them, but it was Lisa Simpson on the board, and it was like ivermectin's just Tide Pod for Trumpers. And so I just reposted it on my Instagram, and I got this guy. You know, you're alienating half your fan base. Block. Just come on, come at me. I'm just trying to dig them out, so I don't have to. I don't want them
Yeah,
following me. Just block, block. I don't respond to them, but it's true. Like they're just
yeah.
these
No,
people are laughing at kids for doing Tide Pods, and then look at them. You know, like it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. No, and I definitely like I always go, back and forth on it. It's like on one hand, yeah, we're all big boys and big girls and big theys and big thems, and we put our pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. We're all responsible for our own brains, but I'm like I said, like I really get conflicted about it. Like I have at times told, if my audience is this, fuck off and die. I don't want to know you. I don't want to see
Right.
you, and I totally respect you doing that, and there's this other part of me that feels super bad for people who are being tricked and lied to, and are
Mm.
getting hurt and hurting themselves and hurting their family members, or suggesting that their family members hurt themselves. And like, because like that's like the other part of it is like these people are really stupid. But if Uncle Joey or Uncle Jim or whatever is sort of the patriarch of the family, and everybody looks up to him, and he's telling you, hey, take this fucking horse medicine, because I just wonder how many incidental um casualties are being put on, people who just think that they should trust their family member, and
I
they are being tricked. It's sad.
I almost wonder too, like, had they waited to do the sequel trilogy till after the pandemic, like, if we would have got a much different enemy to fight,
Yeah, oh, for sure.
you know, like a worm tongue style, like disinfo,
Well,
fucking.
I'll be honest, is that when they were very first launching The Force Awakens, there was a lot of talk about like behind the scenes, like this Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. It's like kind of what happens if, what if he becomes a neo-Nazi? And that was, and how do you work through that? And there was kind of like, I think almost a hope that they would work out a way, on the social responsibility part, you know what I mean? The part of the writer and the crafter who hopes that they're going to help society figure out a path out of addiction or whatever, whatever the problem is. I think there was kind of almost this hope in that and this idea in that. And then as we moved into the political climate that we did, it did seem to change. It did seem like, oh, we're not touching that. Oh shit, we're not going there now. And it really did soften. I think it did soften it a lot. I think the political climate changed Kylo Ren to some degree.
Yeah, I feel that way too. It reminds me of like how 9/11 changed the Matrix sequels in production. They were different films. They weren't the ones quite that were shot.
Yeah,
they really weren't. So there was a whole scene with the mainframe originally, where the mainframe was the big set piece in the first film,
right.
the first sequel, and Agent Smith shows up with the military, right, to take them out because they're gonna blow up this building, and he's basically Agent Smith is turning all the military people into other agents to fight Neo and them, right? And they
Yeah.
blow up the building, and all this fucking Agent Smiths are up in the air, right, fighting Neo, right? And there's a building comes crashing down, and as they fall, they un-Agent Smith, and it's these bodies that are raining.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they looked, and that's where Neo realizes, in order to save the Matrix, I have to kill real people. Like he
Mm.
didn't really dawn on him till then. But you're seeing all these like law enforcement, military, I mean, bodies just, and this building, and like 9/11 acts as that. But there's
Yeah.
this great cliffhanger at the original film. This cliffhanger was Morpheus won't let Neo out of the Matrix until he fulfills a prophecy. He leaves him in there
Mm.
at the end of the first film,
Right.
And there is this whole like turn, this reversal, like what's a prophecy and what's trying to make shit happen. You're gonna force me to kill people now, like I didn't, like no, you're the one, like and that's, but 9/11 changes all of that, and it turns into something more like I don't know, man, like a thesis on self-control or weapons of control, or you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
it turns into the thinking person thing where literally at the end, that's literally when you get the architect saying all that stuff, right? That I figure is in response to like, well, let's find a different way to do this, and that's why when you're like, why does it feel like the first one when they're literally like terrorists, like, walking
Mhm.
in there with all the guns, and they never even do load me up with the guns ever again, because 9/11. 9/11 and
And,
Columbine changes all of
yeah, I
that,
was about to
like,
say,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Columbine probably had a
yeah.
huge effect on that too.
But if they
Bad
had been
style.
able to show that those didn't actually save the Matrix either, that you know what I mean? Like if there was a way to flip it, they don't become the hero because they get the guns and they're fighting the robots. It's that none of these things still kill innocent people. And what do
Yeah.
you do then? There's the real challenge, So like,
I watched the Matrix 4 trailer after we talked last time, and you're like, oh, you should check it out. I did go and I watched it, and I'm not gonna pretend to get it.
right.
I didn't
It
entirely
doesn't
get it.
feel like what you would expect when you hear a fourth Matrix film, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
I didn't really, like everybody, is he back in it, or is he in the real world and those people actually exist and now he's meeting them in real life?
I have a feeling the movie exists somewhere between New Nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
the movie, the movie Wes Craven made before Scream, where they were
Mm-hmm.
all actors who were making were making Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Right.
It's a little meta.
Yeah.
Somewhere between that and Cloud Atlas, like it's got somewhere, and I'm a big fan of that Cloud Atlas movie. Not a lot of people, but I really, really quite enjoy that film. So, and it's real science fiction, that film.
Yeah.
Like I think, when people see real science fiction in theaters, they don't come back and see it again right away. Like even as great as Blade Runner 2049 is, didn't light the world on fire, didn't spark up. Let's go watch that psychological
You
film in
know,
a dystopian future, or yeah.
yeah, no, I like I was saying, like I've read a lot of William Gibson's books, I love Neuromancer. Read, the first three. I read the three Neuromancer books, and I read Johnny
The
Mnemonic, and
inventor of cyberpunk.
yeah, the one of the main dudes, who was doing that stuff. Loved it, loved it. I've never been able to get into Blade Runner. I've like really tried it. It's like I feel like like how somebody who is of the opposite sexual orientation from the sex that they're having. When I go to watch it, I'm like, I get how this is good to people, but this is I feel nothing. There's no connection when I watch it. I just don't connect to the material no matter what, and I love everything about it. I just don't get it. Just the movie doesn't work for me.
I always tell people, look, if you're gonna watch Blade Runner now, um, best to watch the making of Blade Runner,
Mhm.
the 3 hour long one that came with. You can find it. I can't remember for what it's called, like I don't know, Days to Dream or some shit like that. But so you get all the context and everything they were trying to do to get all these ideas into a film, and then when you watch it, you'll be able to go in with a lot more understanding of what you're seeing and what they were going for when they made it. Because
Yeah,
without it, you don't know where it doesn't firmly plant itself in any genre. And this, as you know, the minute it's like one thing when you blend genres, it's difficult enough. Like American Werewolf and London blends comedy and horror. And sometimes it's that I remember when I was a kid when I saw that werewolf, that overhead shot with the werewolf and the legs in the
and
subway,
CCR.
that scared the living shit out of me. Like that weird shot that they did.
Yeah,
It was so
it's good.
believable for whatever reason. But I was also laughing. And it's a weird but when you start to then throw in another genre and like it's a noir, but it's also a 70s science fiction thing, but it's also this like almost like a music video in a way, but it's also like it's so many things that it's hard to like find a way in other than um pure mesmerized, like it's like a when you're sitting there like what the fuck am I watching kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's difficult with
No,
that.
I feel like, I mean, and it's like when I do watch when I watch the movie, I do get it. Like I
Right.
understand the movie, but like I said, I just never connect with it. Like I never fall in love with the movie, and I love that stuff. It's weird, man. It's like
The
I,
2049 is a much better film in terms of just I think it's one of the rare like better than the sequels. The only thing about 2049, which by the way, fantastic 3D.
mhm.
Um I've seek clarification on this, but when they find Harrison Ford, Decker, whatever, and his dog,
Can you hear that?
yeah, what is that? Domestic dispute?
It's like, do I
Call the
call the
cops?
police? Or it sounds like the girl's chasing the guy because he's dumped her.
Uh,
It
if
doesn't
it's
sa-
violent.
it doesn't sound violent. It sounds like she's not having a good time with this fact that he's saying, I don't want anything to do with you.
Oof.
Man, it's rough out there on the mean streets of where Jason lives.
Yeah.
Hearts are being
Yeah, I
broken.
live in a very quiet area and I don't miss the city, Like I don't miss it. I got to deal with the psychos, but at least they're quiet. So
Yeah.
but they cut from Decker and his dog like when they find them and then they're out in the desert eating and I'm like, are they eating the fucking dog? Like are they and I've looked for clarification and the director says no, but I don't believe that to be entirely true because you never see that dog again.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, if that's the case, you got to throw in another scene or something to show the dog later so we know it. Because I don't know, it's a weird scene. So,
Max just texted me that she could hear the yelling.
oh,
Yeah, but anyways, Allison lives next to a hospital. So, Allison, you ever see Ghost? You ever see ghosts that are like, I died at the hospital and I don't know I'm a ghost. I'm walking by
if I
Allison's house.
if I ever see ghosts like that, I just want it to be like in Ghostbusters where you see them all like flying out of a building. like
Yeah.
like the cool glows and shit, like, or that oil effect in water with the
I was
clouds.
wondering like if I see a ghost, am I just gonna like throw all in on religion all of a sudden? Like, am I just gonna like freak the fuck out and be like stigmata and shit the next day? You know what I mean? Because it's like that's gotta. I probably won't, but you know what I mean. I probably won't see a ghost, but
Harry's like, I saw your tweet.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah, that's pretty rough. I was gonna say we were gonna talk. We kind of forgot to talk about that Star Wars comic, but I think we should wait until Jesse's with
Jesse.
us because Jesse
That's
read
fine.
it too. Yeah, so it's probably cooler if we wait for old man Jesse, who was I forgot to message him, but when I did message him to say, hey, here's the link to come on the show, he was like, I'm out, and I was like, Jesse, I'm glad that you're out there living your life, doing things.
He's night crawling at night. He like
Just
records tragedies and sells them.
actually, I think that was him fighting with the girl outside. He was like, I'm just gonna go to Jason's house and whoa, this is badass. See, we have to have Allison on. She has good shit to I want to hear about. I was a ghost hunter with the Society of American Magicians. I investigated easily over 100 locations. I never found a ghost. Damn, you know, I have to say, Allison, number one, that's badass. And number two, also think I always find it really fucking cool when somebody's done like I've done over 100 investigations or whatever. Like I never saw shit. Because when you do hear that though, you know that Allison's the real deal.
But
Like
I've played the lotto 100 times and I've never won it.
No,
Someone does.
No, but what I'm saying is that I'm not saying it's disproving ghost. What I'm saying is it proves that when Allison does something, she really fucking does it. Because like a lot of people like will go on one ghost thing. Oh, I thought I felt something touching my back. Like,
or
it's like,
Allison needs to make friends with real ghost hunters, and I don't mean real ones, like but you know, like professional. Damn it, I'm just. And then what if they're like, hey man, you're ghost hunting, like, you know, like if your perspective's off and you're drawing, like like going over your practices, like, so you didn't do this shit right, like hold on, like the Bob Ross of ghost hunters.
Whenever I see, I think I've already said this, but whenever I see the fucking spirit box thing, that's when you are not a real ghost hunter.
Yeah,
that is just putting a bunch of sounds together, and then finally like you ask something and it sounds like it said something. Like that's not,
you know, like when you figure out pro wrestling's fake, right? Like the spirit box thing was one of the first things. I'm like, all right, so half the shit on the show is bullshit. The spirit box thing is absolute nonsense. You know.
All right, so Allison, when you're on the show with us, and I ask you about this stuff, are you able to like tell me that, or are you breaking some kind of magician's code? Because that is
wasn't that
badass.
the movie with the magicians where they all got like actual magical powers and shit?
Yeah,
like, that was great.
Well,
people didn't like it. They got real magic. I'm like, I like that version versus the real magicians left where they're just like failed prop comedians who became, you know, like there's a universe where Carrot Top didn't do so well, so he just became a magician that works out that House of Magic or whatever, and then kills himself.
What if we made a movie where like Gallagher, his career is failing, like a Gallagher type, and then he has to rob banks. So like he gets like on the big wheel, right? But you think he's gonna ride away in it, but that's the dummy car.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Like that'd be great.
Or he like the police come in and these giant mallets hit all these watermelons at the same time, and they go like they get.
Okay, what I love about this part is Allison says I can talk about the ghost hunting stuff. That means she can't talk about the magician stuff. She has a code. She has a she does. She has a code.
It's great.
Oh no, Dell says a magician never reveals their secrets. Yeah. It'll be cool if she comes on though and she's like Job from Arrested Development. She's like, oh, the how they do that's and all that to us.
I was gonna say Lawnmower Man. I was like, ooh.
Oh shit.
It's a whole different Job.
Yeah. Lawnmower Man came out like in a weird slew of movies. It was like Die Hard and like Lawnmower Man. And
No, it was
Look
like
who's
Die Hard
talking.
2 in Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, and like look who's talking and Lawnmower Man.
Right.
It was like one of these is really unlike the other rest.
Speaking of movies that look like made for TV,
Yeah,
Lawnmower Man. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if it holds up, but it barely held together when it came out. I remember
It's Flowers
that.
with Algernon with the Game Gear. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, they should after which is not really something that aged well in the current world of comedy, but that one Ben Stiller movie, with Iron Man, Tropic Thunder.
Right.
I really wanted those guys to do Flowers for Algernon. I think it would have been hilarious. I think it would have been really good. I would have been all about it. All Hands on Deck says, do you have the floppy sleeves and everything, or is that just wizards? No, Allison has a code, friend. She has a code. And she says, the best people who do sleight of hand do so with short sleeves or without a shirt on. That's like David Blaine.
Penn wears a suit.
My teenage years, I almost said my teenage girlfriend, which sounds bad. My girlfriend when I was in high school, her aunt was from New Jersey, and she was like, I'm gonna take you guys out to dinner. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. And so we go out to dinner with her aunt from New Jersey, and the whole time all she talks about is how David Blaine hit on her. And David Blaine, she didn't want David Blaine. David Blaine didn't give up. But then eventually David Blaine had her wanting David Blaine so bad. She'd never wanted a man so bad. And then she had a great night with David Blaine. They banged it away. And then she never heard from him again. And I was like, God damn, David Blaine, you are fucking cool. You have some cool ass magic.
Disappearance is trick. Like,
yeah. And,
made me disappear.
she didn't even want him. And then and she was like, and she kind of knew like he was like kind of like, David Blaine, this is like the 90s. Like she's like, kind of like what, kind of, but she says he had some magic to him.
Let me tell you something. We go ahead and read that real quick.
Well, Allison says, I met the guy who came up with his material. That's awesome.
So since I walked out of the theater and I saw Borat, was it 2005?
Yeah.
I was like, I wish Sacha Baron Cohen would do this with David Blaine magic shit.
Yeah.
Like this would be great. Like if he could find a way to pull this bullshit magician shit on people. But it's all really inappropriate gay shit, or I don't know, something that would just fucking annoy and like really just drive people nuts.
Yeah. I am a fan of when boundaries are pushed that shouldn't be boundaries, but it makes those people scream. Dude. But it makes it makes those people scream it. Yeah. No. Even that last Borat movie was being a movie made during the pandemic was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. But I always thought that David Blaine stuff would be his material. Like,
all right, Allison, you could totally say no, but is there any chance when you're on the show you could do magic? Can you do magic? And can the magic burn Rob for his stern but fair criticisms? She's like, I'm gonna turn this piece of shit into a worse piece of shit, and she does it, and it's just like it's just a picture of you. She's like,
Rob's so much nicer in his art critique. Doesn't seem to play along on the Star Wars show. It's why I don't do well in real life. Like I have to put on, I call it the Stan Lee face. In real life. I have to be in Stan like character. Because my real like relaxed mode is just question everything and make Rob chuckle. It's not good for friends. Like it's just not good for real people. It's not fun to hang out with. Like it's why I've probably been on such a Lebowski kick since my buddy passed. Is I get the three guys hanging out. They hang out at a bowling alley, and they're not having a good time. Like they're just arguing all fucking night.
Yeah.
Like it seems more stressful to go bowling It should not be stressful. And they're just arguing and yelling at one another the whole time.
But
I somehow relate to that.
misery
Yeah.
loves company. Misery loves company.
I really relate to that part. I don't get the
Yeah.
drugs or anything else, but it's that I get the most.
Yeah, it's like if you're going to be miserable, then be miserable with somebody else, you know. AJ says, Rob, critique my MS Paint art. Rob probably doesn't agree, but I want to encourage everyone to draw MS Paint art and to tweet it at Rob, whenever you can, and and and
I
ask
used to
him
spend
for
my
pointers.
entire summers remaking Super Mario World sprites in MS Paint because my dad wouldn't buy me a Super Nintendo. So I'd
Mhm.
sit there with Nintendo Power and count, and I'd go in MS Sprite and
The
I'd
grid.
remake a Super Mario World so I could pretend to play the game. Like,
Yeah.
that was the best I had.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I got like a really early. I'm not a big Minecraft guy, so this is like a brag or something. But somebody who had like a Minecraft beta stuff was like, "Hey,
That was me.
try this out. Like this is cool." And I was like, so they gave me the beta, and I tried it out, and I was like, I don't know what to build, so I ended up opening up a page and finding like Link holding up the Triforce, and I just built a giant version of it. And then I felt like I was done with Minecraft. My kids love it. They play it all the time still. It's like came out years before they were born. It's crazy.
I played it up until they made it so where originally when you got the minecarts, they could just go forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You didn't need to like give them energy or fucking whatever. They would just go. So I was working from home, right, when I was as a freelance artist. And so I built enough tracks so that I would have to get into a cart because my commute used to be 2 hours. I'd go from like San Diego to San Clemente,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I made a 2 hour commute in that cart to my cave,
Oh yeah.
and I would get in the morning, put my guy in there, let it go, and then I would do all my stuff, and I would wait for him to get to work, and then I would go and play, and then I would let him back in the cart to go back to his house, just so I had a commute every day. And then when they changed it to where you had to like make those things you did set it up so the carts ran on energy, I was like, fuck this, like
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I have to say, I love your sweater tonight. That sweater is pretty rocking.
It's the dude sweater.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
I wish I had it.
And it
Mm.
matches my solo cup. As crazy as that seems. It does.
Yeah.
And why didn't they ever get Jeff Bridges to be the Jedi or something? Like,
Mhm.
like he could be like a Saboth. He could be someone really cool, but then goes evil on you. Like
Well, did you know that they made Voss into the dude in the Clone Wars cartoons?
no, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, his personality is they made him, he's based off of the Big Lebowski's, the dude, and Obi-Wan Kenobi can't stand it. It's kind of batshit. It's a bit silly, but I do love it though. It's like it's pretty
There's
good.
in the Final Fantasy VII remake, there's this when you first go to there's a whole thing in Final Fantasy VII where you go to this bee the bee place that they it's a brothel basically. It's big in the original game. There's a guy you meet that they added to the game that is Sam Elliott from the dude from Lebowski. Like he just talks like him, acts like him. It's clearly Sam. It's just they got a Sam Elliott guy to talk and act the way he does in Lebowski. It's the
Yeah.
best. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, that's a form of American voice acting I can get behind.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're ever in a Clone Wars mood, maybe check one of those out because you might, I don't know. I'm curious if you appreciate it or if you're like, no, just you can't do that. You know?
When it comes to Star Wars, bro, you can do anything at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I'm more against when they take it so seriously they don't push the boundaries. Like at this point. So I love Rogue One, but I want to see a version of Solo that was directed by Lord Miller. My problem with that movie is I think I like the sequence writing, I like the stuff, but I would like to see it be more. I couldn't predict where this is going. Like when I go watch the Spider-Verse movie, I don't know where that movie's going. I didn't know where the
Yeah.
Lego movie was going. I felt like in Solo, I knew where this was going. Like
Yeah.
I knew they're gonna get to the castle run, and then they're gonna end on a Sabat game. Like I knew they were gonna do that, and they did that. So that's how it went.
Yeah. Yeah. I I could see their perspective of the Han Solo movies, not the one to go out on a limb on, but at the same time, it's like, why not? AJ
Or if
says,
he was,
yeah,
sorry,
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say if his character was more fun and more out there, but then at the end when his fucking all of his friends die, he becomes that guy who's like, I'm not making friends anymore. I got only one I trust is the Wookiee.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think they tried to do that, but they did it like in the first 15 minutes of the film. I'm like, that's a little early, guy.
Well, I mean, like they like clearly set the movie up for like sequels too, and I think that they were
Right.
gonna like and one of the things I want to like we'll get into when we finally get to Kira in the War of the Bounty Hunter stuff is that I'm curious as to what you think of the interpretation of Kira and where she's at in her life when we meet her there. Does it feel like a natural progression? That's
Hmm.
like that's one of the things I'm definitely gonna ask when we finally get to her stuff. Was nice to see her back though. Wish I had not skipped ahead on accident because I thought that was like the next issue. But anyways, AJ says, should Denny's make more Star Wars meals for Rogue Squadron? Should Denny's make more meals in general is a good question. And the answer is probably no. No,
Denny's should come up with their own version of Happy Meal, but they just slide an omelet and some pancakes in there. What's in the box? Denny's, what's in the box? You open it. Oh, it's just all my breakfast.
dude, if you want to know how weird YouTube is, um, I've probably followed Philip DeFranco for I don't know 6 or 7 years. I feel like now at this point, I just got a YouTube Philip DeFranco. Wow, who got exposed thing on the Philip DeFranco channel. I've never got this notification in my life. Why am I getting a Philip DeFranco notification like 7 years later?
Maybe because we talked about hot dogs when we're talking about slamming.
They're like, oh,
And then they're like, Francs. Oh,
Franc-
DeFranco algorithm.
DeFranco.
It's working.
Yeah, no, but to kind of like actually like take your question like a little bit more seriously, um, when it comes to like tie-in stuff, like I like it when it's fun, and a lot of the solo stuff I think was actually fun. Like they put pop rocks on pancakes.
The
Uh,
commercials were excellent. Like the
they were.
production value. I was telling you and Jesse a few weeks ago on the cast, I'm like, I wish I missed that cheesy 90s like Happy Meal tie-in, the Batman Forever, where they take clips from the movie and then work them around the ad for the
Yeah,
McDonald's. I'll get drive-through, right? And you're like, all right, he goes to McDonald's. They take the car and drive it by a McDonald's. So
yeah,
like, but with the Star Wars Denny one, like they really shot some exclusive, high def like stuff,
yeah.
for that commercial that I'm like, that's got bigger production value than fucking Star Tours. Like, like that is
Max says I had a strange enjoyment with the Denny's for Solo. It was odd but fun, and it's like yeah, it was definitely weird. It's like I haven't like it's always been sad that if the movie didn't connect or didn't do big business, but it comes off extra strange because the movie failed, because the movie didn't excel, and so it plays a bit weirder, like
I just
in
wish
our
they had
memory.
those frosted Solo mugs, the glass mugs, like
Yeah,
the emboss the faces, where he's like, oh, like in carbonite with the why didn't they ever do the carbonite mug where he's like the glass sculpted into there
well,
like the
did you ever
Batman Forever
did you
one?
ever notice the carbonite homage when he falls in the mud?
Yes, I
Yeah,
caught
like
that. Yeah.
that was it. That should have been Muddy Solo, and you're like, what is that carbonite? No, he's just in mud meeting Chewbacca for the very first time. It's amazing. No,
Yeah. I do like when they meet in that cage. I thought that was well shot and acted and everything. I do enjoy that.
Max is all Jason. Remember when I was leaving for Turkey and was texting you from Denny's? Yeah, I also remembered that you had some adventures in Turkey.
Was
Max
is it
Max
Chris
lives.
Farley's over there? Remember that time we were doing the thing? Yeah, it was cool.
Hey, remember when when you wrote that Star Wars story, that's cool. God,
Remember you went to Denny's and they said no Denny's for you?
man, I was super bummed that Norm Macdonald died too.
I
That was
got
weird.
so I was a big Norm fan in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Favorite part of that. So actually the only reason why I went to go see Adam Sandler films was to see a Norm Macdonald cameo. The
Hmm.
penguin fucking thing. Like him in the pool with the penguin.
Yeah.
Whatever movie that was. I love that. But in 2007 he did a stand up for a week at the Irvine Improv, right? And I'm like, for some reason, I'm like, I never see Norm do stand up, so I'll go. Brought the wife, we went there. And the opening act was typical comedy, killed the guy who opened for him, slayed, right? Everyone's laughing, having a good time.
No,
Norm comes
Allison.
on, and by Allison, Norm does Norm humor, half the audience not laughing.
Yeah.
And my wife was one of them. Like, I don't, and I'm like, this is genius.
Yeah.
Like, what he's doing is genius. And these people, the fact that they don't get it, and he keeps doing it, doesn't care. I'm like, fucking love this.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you either are the type of person who enjoys when everyone is being made uncomfortable on purpose, or
Right.
you can't stand it, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just I think it has to do with like how you process that kind of tension, you know.
I thought it was
And
funny that he'd pick a guy who did the classical kind of, it was a classical comedy stand-up where, he gets everyone riled up, they're in a great mood, but then Norm comes out and does his thing. It's so weird. I don't know. I just remember thinking like that's genius, and I wish I could have. I mean, he was sold out for the remainder of the week, so it was just like whatever. But I wish I'd seen it twice.
yeah, yeah, I remember like the last episode of Letterman, I think. He asked him over. It was like a big deal or something like that. And also, do you remember when he got fired from like SNL because he kept saying OJ fucking
Yeah,
killed his wife, essentially?
I tuned in just for it.
Yeah,
That
it was
was my
great.
waiting, waiting, waiting. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was magical. Yeah, I mean, and just to relate everything to Star Wars, I always thought he would end up doing a voice, like, a Star Wars voice eventually, because he just has that the kind of thing. And I was like, man, that's too bad. And
I always wanted, who's the guy, Willard? The guy that um God, fucking, he's an amazing character actor. You see him in everything. He died like a year or two ago.
mhm.
Um,
George
can
Lucas used the name Willard a lot in early scripts, by the way, for what it's worth. I can relate anything back to it, but
Fred Willard.
Fred
So
Willard.
I had always hoped Fred Willard would have played Norm's dad in something.
Mhm.
Like if I could get Norm Macdonald and Fred Willard together, like that would, I just want to see them like on a road trip or something, or like maybe like the mom dies and then they're stuck together on a road trip to like spread her. I don't know, some fucking
Everybody's saying
uncomfortable.
Fred Willard. Everybody's like
Okay.
Fred Willard from Anchorman. Fred Willard.
Thank you. But I always do Fred Willard just from random 80s shows or
Yeah.
Hollywood Squares and shit like that.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, he's
but
great.
yeah, Fred Willard and Norm Macdonald in a movie together was like the thing I always wanted to see. So,
He's the guy. He's the guy that's in all of those movies with the Spinal Tap dudes, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's great. He has like that great. He had like almost like Frankie Avalon hair sometimes in the
Yeah, and
in the
you
80s.
could never, you couldn't phase Fred Willard. There wasn't a scenario in which you could get under his skin. Like he'd find a way to take any scene and he could make it uncomfortable and fun. Like he's very much the closest I've seen what Norm would do. Fred Willard did it first, obviously, but it's the same mold.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I was also surprised I mean, not that he was like young old, like he was like 61. And I was surprised he was that old.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
Norm had
it makes
cancers and
sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, shit, that's messed up. But
And by the way, Fred Willard had a cameo in Moving Violations, my favorite '80s comedy film that no one watches. But
was he in was he in A Fish Called Wanda? Did he have Did he have a part in that one?
I
Was
don't
he in-
remember that one.
Yeah.
No, I
You
don't
ever
think
see?
so.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Yeah. I don't
funny.
think he was in.
I don't remember seeing Fred Willard now in it.
Okay.
I,
No, I was like, was he in it? I don't think he was though.
No, he was in Roxanne with Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one. I didn't see that
Nose.
one in the theater. I rented that one, but Allison's gone to bed, so I don't have to like have any street cred on that part now because I know Allison probably saw that shit in the theater.
She's like slamming the cars down. I saw that
She
shit.
comes back. She's like, actually, I did see it in the theater. She's all, if you've never seen it in its true aspect ratio, you've never seen that nose.
The fact that aspect ratio is something we don't have to worry about anymore,
Yeah.
you know, is like a godsend, but it didn't switch to motion smoothing. So
AJ says sick Phantom Menace mug, best prequel, 100%.
it's the official. I got
It's
it
the
back in the
official.
day.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm a Revenge of the Sith man, but I do love me the Phantom Menace. It's a fact, Jack. All right, I guess we will call it a night, and I will go to sleep. Dream.
Yeah, I gotta stay up all night and draw.
You gotta draw.
I
They
gotta go to work, man.
you need to become. I want you to look in the mirror and go, Rob, look at me, Rob. I'm Rob. I'm
Bright
Emilio
shining star.
Estevez. I'm
Oh.
Billy. I'm Kitster. I'm Billy the Kitster. I'm the quick draw. I'm the quick
like
draw.
famous.
I'm gonna draw quick. I'm the quick draw.
Quick draw. The fact that Quick Draw McGraw didn't just pull out pencils and start drawing shit is a wasted opportunity, right? Quick Draws actually pulls out pencils and draws things
Yeah.
faster than you can shoot them, and then that gets you.
Yeah,
Like,
and sometimes they blow up or something, like Inspector Gadget.
Guns are easier to animate, idiot. You know? What's fucking wrong with you? Stop setting us up for more work.
Stupid. All right. All right.
Stupid.
I didn't do it yesterday, but I'm gonna do the outro today. But thanks to everybody who supports the show on Patreon and on YouTube.com. I do appreciate it, and it helps make all the stuff possible and, to continue doing this jazz. And we will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. like our normal time, and we will definitely talk about the Star Wars comic book, the third issue of the
Second issue.
or second issue. Maybe we'll do the third too. Maybe we will. I don't know. I ain't promising
It
shit.
depends on how quickly we get through it.
Yeah, not a lot really happens in that first one, so I kind of got a feeling we will do 2 and 3 probably together.
Right.
Most likely, anyways. But we'll see. Who knows what news could break? You know, I mean, is tomorrow Friday?
No, tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday, so
Yeah.
we have Thursday and Friday. Okay, yeah. So anyways, yeah, but thanks everybody, and we will see you guys tomorrow, and thanks for hanging out with us in the chat all night. It was a good time, and yeah, be cool.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.